A small landlord in Washington state felt bad because the tenant had 6 kids and ended up getting taken advantage of, leading to them losing 6 months worth of rent and ending up with 15 loads of garbage stuck in their house. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. Alright, so I have an interesting video for you today, and once again I am going to the comments section and I've got a couple of really great stories that people left me. And you know what? I love bringing these sort of stories to you because they tell you the bad sort of situations that landlords have to go through. I know a lot of people, they think that, oh, landlords, they're just these super rich guys sitting on a beach somewhere just collecting money. Well, that's just not the case, okay? A lot of us are just small mom and pop operators. We're managing our own properties. We're doing all the work ourselves. And when a tenant doesn't pay us rent, you know what happens? We are put into financial distress. Now, most of us, we do have some emergency savings in case something happens, right? But we cannot last forever. And that is the problem, okay? When you're talking about the landlord in this story that I'm going to cover today, this landlord lost 6 months worth of rent because he's in Washington state. And when you're in Washington state, it takes a long time to evict a tenant, even a tenant who is blatantly violating all of the rules. And that's unfortunate, okay? Because you know what? 6 months of mortgage payments are still due. 6 months of, all the other bills that you have to pay, be it utilities or, lawn mowing, whatever, you still have to pay for it, whether the tenant is paying or not. And you know what? The laws were put into place with the intention, oh, the poor tenant, they're just a poor victim. And a lot of the times, that's just not the case. A lot of the times, they're the cause of their own problem. They are violating the terms of a contract that they signed, and you should be allowed to essentially repossess your property, just like a car salesman who, if you're not making your car payment, they come and take that car back from you as soon as possible because there's no reason for you to be sitting in there accumulating more debt, doing more damage to their product. But that's what they allow when it comes to housing. Now, to me, that sounds just dumb. But anyway, before I get into these stories, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. So, I just want to ask everyone right now, I'm not going to blame this landlord in this story for, falling victim to a tenant who just didn't give a crap about him and, taking advantage of him, right? Because, I feel bad when I see kids too. I have kids, okay? Well, I have one daughter, and I just feel like, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them that their parents aren't doing everything right. And unfortunately, we have to look at it as a business. We can't look at it as we are a social service provider. We are not these people's friends. We are not going to be able to save those children. The only people who can take care of those children are their parents. And if their parents aren't doing everything right, then they need to figure it out. That's not our job. It's not our responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility either, in my opinion. Okay? It's up to them. And sometimes they need a hard lesson. Maybe that hard lesson is, hey, we got evicted, so now we have to really get our act together to make sure that these children have somewhere to stay. Now, hard lessons in life. I've went through a lot of hard lessons. All of us have, right? But my problem is the government tries to shelter these people, coddle them and treat them like they are mom and dad. Well, they're not. They're not. The government shouldn't be your mom and dad taking care of you. And I shouldn't have to pay your way just because you have children, okay? But, like I said, I don't blame this landlord for feeling a little bit guilty and not acting immediately. But, this is an important lesson that this landlord learned. But anyway, let's get into these comments. Okay, so these comments today, they're coming from a video that I published just a couple of days ago. Small landlord loses over $50,000 after tenant trashed house. Can't evict due to free lawyers, okay? And I got a lot of views on that video, so, this story, it resonates a lot, okay? And this comment should resonate with other landlords as well. And so this is coming from a user named Jerry Piss on Me, and Jerry, nice name, Jerry, and he says, I'm a small Washington state landlord, and my S-head tenants forced me to get a lawyer because they were not paying their bills. It took my lawyer 6 months to get them out. Rent-free, of course, to them. They left the majority of their stuff behind, which I donated 15 loads of stuff to various nonprofits. And on top of that, I packed up 15 truckloads of trash from them and hauled to the dump. So yeah, I mean, we're already talking about, okay, they weren't paying their bills and, they abandoned the place essentially, right? So yeah, he had to haul off 15 loads of stuff to donate. So 30 loads of stuff into his truck, right? Just to get this place cleared out. And remember, like I said, in the case of a lot of small landlords, we're doing all the work ourselves. It's not like we just pay some staff to come and do everything for us. No, we're busting our butts, hauling that stuff out ourselves. So for the people who say the landlords just sit there and collect the rent, that's not always the case. And in fact, in the case of small landlords, that's almost never the case. The smell was unbearable too. And upon monthly inspections, I saw rats running around the yard while kids played. They didn't have garbage service. The only reason they continued there is because I felt sorry for the 6 kids that lived there with them. Big mistake. I should have listened to my head instead of my heart. Hard luck stories can't dictate how landlords run their rentals. And yeah, I mean, like I said, Jerry, I understand, okay? I understand. And seeing those kids there and, in those conditions and feeling bad for them, just being human being, it's easy to fall into that trap, right? But the parents are taking advantage of you and you ended up having to evict them anyway. That's the worst part, right? They were not going to get any better. They were just going to drag it out, continue violating the terms of your lease for as long as possible. And, we've all seen it now. Most of our tenants have kids, okay? I mean, most of my tenants, they are parents with kids or maybe a single parent with kids, right? But so we see it all the time. And, the evictions you go through, you just have to say it, okay, this is a business. They will figure it out. Don't think to yourself, oh, these people are going to end up homeless. In most cases, that's not going to happen. They're going to go live with a relative or a friend or someone else until they can get back on their feet, but they're not going to end up sleeping in a car, okay? So don't feel bad. And that's what I say. Don't feel bad because you're not a charity. And continue to do what you did. And, this story, it's important, especially for the newer landlords out there who might not think of it that way. They're like, oh, I've talked to so many people and they own one property and they really do think that they are doing, God's work out there. And I keep my rents low for them. And I go out there and I mow the grass. I don't charge anything extra for it. And they're doing all this stuff for people who are 100% ungrateful. 100% ungrateful. The same people, they will do nothing for you. They won't give you one break at any point in time, okay? They will, call the city on you to get you fined. They will, go out of their way to screw you over at any chance possible. And that's why I say, be professional, be courteous, be respectful, right? But do not give anyone special treatment. Do not act like anyone is, these people aren't your friends. They're your clients, okay? You can be respectful and courteous and, follow the law and all that stuff, right? And still, focus on this being a business and them not being your friend. And that's what I say. That's what I say. I know a lot of people, they might not agree with that. But you know what? That kind of thing will put you into this sort of situation. So another comment I have from this same video comes from a Tidy Cats 151. And this user says, he's out more than $80,000. He's lost several thousand in home value. He'll have to sell as well as the huge headache for the new owners evicting the squatters. He'll be lucky to get 30 cents on the dollar of value. I'm curious if the new owners will face the same challenge as evicting. If not, perhaps sell the property to a friend or family member with the option of repurchase. Now, one thing I will say is, I didn't read the whole article in the video, but I believe at the end of the article they did say that the property owner was able to get the tenants up out of there, okay? I'll have to go back and check just to be sure, though, because I might be confusing it with a different article. However, he's in Seattle. There are motorcycle enthusiast groups in the area who would take on the job of evicting the squatters for a reasonable fee. These groups have an excellent record of positive results in convincing squatters to self-evict. Now, I've mentioned before, right, that some people are willing to go, outside of the law in order to get rid of people, right? And I don't recommend doing that. I say follow the law for where you're at, right? But at the same time, don't own a rental property in a place that will treat you like this, okay? If Seattle treats landlords like garbage, especially small landlords, okay? When I'm talking most of the time, I'm talking about small landlords who cannot stand the financial hit from, people being, taking advantage of them, right? I'm saying invest your money elsewhere, because if you take a hit like this, it's likely you just won't survive, okay? Read the smarmy lawyer. Do some deep digging. These weasels have a tendency to leave a trail of questionable and actionable activities in their wake. If not for gain, then for the simple joy of causing the weasel to defend his actions with the local bar association. People tend to forget the law is a two-way street. I'd be curious to see smarmy lawyers build hours for this not-for-profit. I have a hunch these properties he's defending against eviction may be ending up in their portfolio. There are bad lawyers out there. There are really scumbag lawyers out there. And a lot of these cases with these nonprofit lawyers that they're hiring to defend these squatter tenants and such, right? In my mind, there is no way, absolutely no way, that they don't know that they are defending a scumbag. Okay? So why would they continue to do that? Because, simply put, they are making money. It's the only logical answer. You can't possibly believe that this person who broke into a house is a legitimate tenant. No one, unless you are a complete, utter moron with an IQ of 2, would actually believe that. So these people, they're sitting there defending them, and these people don't deserve any sort of defense whatsoever. So if a lawyer is doing that, then they're a scumbag. They're a scumbag because they know the people they're protecting don't deserve protection. So, I agree. Now, like I've said many times before, right? I can't tell people to go out there and do this sort of retaliatory action or break the law or do any of that stuff. But what I can say is I understand those who do. I understand how they were feeling at the time and why they decided to do that. So anyway, I thought I'd bring those comments to you. If you have a story that you want to share on the channel, and maybe I'll make a future video about it, put it in the comment section down below, or maybe shoot me an email at Tony@NorthOmahaInvestments.